But this is not just a boxing match, at least not in the traditional sense. It's not defined by celebrity, spectacle, or media attention. It's more primal than that. It's two men who seek comfort and clarity through violence.
Tremendous punishment. Oh, wow!
Two men with broad shoulders who carry unfathomable weight deep within their hearts. From the ashes of despair, loss, and poverty, these men are not fighters because they're athletes. These men are fighters because they don't know how else to live.
The work, champ.
But clarity remains a tricky concept, especially when it's delivered by fist. Because on November 6th, answers will be served the old-fashioned way. And only one champion will receive the comfort he seeks.
All of you who tell me what I can't do, a lot of you live believable lives. I set out to live an unbelievable life and accomplish unbelievable things.
He thinks that if he beats you,
You're gonna see.
You're gonna see, motherfucker.
You're gonna see, motherfucker.
You motherfucker. Don't tempt me.
Get the man.
Pay-per-view. Well, fans, we're ready to bring out our fighters for our opening attraction on Showtime pay-per-view, super lightweights. At this time, please welcome them as they make their way to the stage. First, from Villa del Carbon, Mexico, the Mexican Olympian and undefeated super lightweight, introducing Juan Pablo, El PV Romero. And his opponent making his way to the stage at this time, fighting out of Los Angeles by way of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Making his Showtime debut, here is the hard-hitting fighter known as the Dominican Kid, Elvis Rodriguez. And our fighters are ready to step onto the scale at this time. 10 rounds of boxing, super lightweight division. First, once again, here is the 2016 Olympian, 14-0, 9 knockouts in his undefeated professional campaign, Juan Pablo El PV Romero.
$143.
143 pounds, 143 for Juan Pablo El PV Romero. And his opponent to the scale at this time with a record of 11 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, with 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Here's the hard-hitting southpaw, the Dominican Kid, Elvis Rodriguez.
$142.
142 pounds, 142 pounds for Elvis Rodriguez.
So Juan Pablo Romero, Elvis Rodriguez. We saw Rodriguez, coming off his loss, Showbox against Sims.
He very much needs a bounce back win here. And I'm telling you, Romero, the man he's facing, is a terrific body puncher, good combination puncher. It's going to be a good fight.
How about Romero, Abner? You know him very well. He told us, look, I made a pact with the devil because Rodriguez is going to have to come down to hell to beat me in this fight.
I like what he said right there. You know what? Yes, I do know him really well. There was a time in my career where I wanted to be a manager, and I wanted to sign Romero. I saw what I saw. I like what I saw in this kid coming from the Olympics. And yeah, he's got the height, he's got the reach, and he's got great combinations.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Elvis Rodriguez, Juan Pablo El PV Romero, 10 rounds of boxing, super lightweights, opening attraction, live on Showtime pay-per-view.
So next we'll see Baez and Vargas. Those two will be coming to the stage as Romero and Rodriguez get in. And as you pointed out, Al, that should be a nice little firefight. And for Rodriguez, now being trained by Freddie Roach, and I thought he said he was a little gun shy in that fight against Sims. How do you teach a fighter not to be gun shy?
Kenneth Sims is a good fighter who had underperformed a little bit before that fight. And in that fight, Kenneth Sims rose to another level. And I think Rodriguez was surprised at the level of competition. You're not supposed to be, though, are you? And yeah, being gun shy is not the best thing when you're in the trying to get into the upper echelon of your weight division.
Yeah, and then talk to me about Romero, Abner, because he said he's looking at this fight as an opportunity to show people he belongs on the world-class level.
And it is a good opportunity for him. Like Al mentioned, Rodriguez, he could be fighting out of his back foot too much sometimes, and Romero has to take advantage of that. He's got to apply the pressure, take the early rounds, and get this fight going.
And we're ready for the next fighters to step on the scale. Back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena here in Las Vegas, Premier Boxing Champions continues with our official weigh-ins with our second bout scheduled for tomorrow night. Please welcome our featherweights as they make their way to the stage at this time. First, from Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico, the battle-tested veteran, Leonardo Cuate Baez.
Todo. Ya, todo. ¿Cuántos? Por favor, hazme un favor. No te muevas cuando subas a la báscula hasta que digamos tu peso, por favor. Ya después de eso puedes hacer lo que quieras. Gracias.
And now his opponent making his way to the stage from Otumba, Mexico. The undefeated fighter in his 34 professional bouts. He is the former WBC Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Rey Vargas. And we'll bring our fighters to the scale at this time. 10 rounds of boxing scheduled in a featherweight attraction. First, 12 knockouts in his 26 victories from Mexicali. Here is Leonardo Cuate Baez.
$126.5.
126.5 pounds, 126.5 for Leonardo Cuate Baez. And we invite his opponent to the scale at this time. His record 34 wins, no losses, 22 wins coming by way of knockout, making his Showtime debut, the former WBC Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Rey Vargas.
$125.
125 pounds for Rey Vargas, 125 pounds for the former world champion.
So Rey Vargas, you know, listen, this is the first time we'll see him in basically 2 years. I mean, his longest layoff before that was 9 months, but he had some promotional issues, and then he broke his leg last year running the mountains and the hills. So this will be the first time seeing Rey Vargas back in action in quite some time. By the way, Juan Pablo Romero was a pound over. The contracted weight for that first fight was 142. You heard he came in at 143, so he has an hour to lose that weight pending doctor approval.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of back boxing featherweight attraction. Rey Vargas, Leonardo Cuate Baez.
So there you are, seeing those two face off. Now listen, you know, we've seen Rey Vargas at 118, 122, where he was a monster. Now he's, you know, stepping up to 126. Leonardo Baez feels like that's his advantage, because as he pointed out, Mo, I've been campaigning at 126. This guy's coming up to my division, and he hasn't been as active as I've been.
Yeah, Baez moving up to 126 pounds for a huge opportunity against a guy who was forced to vacate the title after the broken leg that you mentioned. For Baez, though, he's fighting a Canelo-like schedule. 5th fight of the year, has won 3 in a row, all by knockout.
That's unheard of during these days of boxing.
But 3 wins in a row via stoppage, but under not the greatest of circumstances. The opponent's soft opposition, to say the least, but he needs to seize this opportunity. He is on the undercard of one of the biggest fights of the year, and against a former champion like Rey Vargas, Leonardo Baez has an opportunity to go from footnote to a co-headline.
All right, speaking of the co-main event. We're getting ready for those fighters. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the stage and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Premier Boxing Champions continues with our official weigh-ins. This time we present fighters in the co-main event of the evening. And reminding you, tomorrow night's event is brought to you courtesy of Hennessy. Never stop, never settle. DraftKings Sportsbook, bet with the only top-rated sportsbook that matters. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better service, better prices every day. Blue Moon Entertainment, prepare to be entertained. And Resident Evil, welcome to Raccoon City. Nothing spreads faster than fear, only in movie theaters. All right, fans, let's bring our fighters out to the stage at this time for this super middleweight attraction. First from Fresno, California, in his 22nd professional bout, please welcome Madman Marcos Hernandez. And his opponent, fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, by way of Flint, Michigan. Here's the former two-time super middleweight champion of the world, Anthony the Dog Durrell. And let's bring our fighters to the scale at this time. 10 rounds of boxing, super middleweight attraction. Weight limit on this fight is 169 pounds. First to the scale with a record of 15-4-2 with 3 knockouts from Fresno, California, Madman Marcos Hernandez.
$168.5.
168.5 pounds, 168.5 for Madman Marcos Hernandez. And now his opponent to the scale at this time with a record of 33 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws with 24 knockouts. He is currently ranked the WEC #5 world contender, the former two-time super middleweight champion of the world, Anthony the Dog Durrell.
168.5.
168.5 pounds for Anthony Durrell, 168.5.
So both of these guys tipped the scale at 168.5. And, you know, Abner, Marcos Hernandez, you could tell somewhat nervous all week. This is the big stage for him and the first time for him to being on this kind of level.
Yeah, this is his first time in, you know, a big fight like this, fighting Anthony. But, you know, he's a hard-nosed fighter. You know, he's been in good fights, maybe not as big as this, but he knows how to take this in and really give a fight. You know, as a fighter, once you get in the ring, you forget all about that and just give a good fight.
And Al, Anthony Durrell has said all week, I'm 37, I want big fights. I need to look spectacular because I would love the winner of the main event, but I just need to fight for big fights if I'm going to go forward.
A win, as these two fighters stare down with each other, a win is not enough for Durrell. He has to look good. His last fight against Kyron Davis, who we'll see against on Showtime Championship Boxing, it's David Benavides. He had a disputed draw with Davis. He needs a good performance.
The co-main event of the evening, Anthony the Dog Durrell, Madman Marcos Hernandez. 10 rounds of boxing, super middleweights, live on Showtime pay-per-view.
All right, of course, here with all my guys who will be calling all the action on this pay-per-view fight. So, listen, most of the undercard guys have weighed in. Let's talk about this main event. Mo, to me, I think the fans win. This is what they've always wanted. One face, one name, one champion with all the belts, and that's what you've got here in the main event.
There is very little that boxing fans and media agree on. But one thing we can all be sure of, boxing benefits when there is only one champion in each division. Last time that I checked, there was only one world. In the 37-year history of the 168-pound weight class, there has never been an undisputed ruler. Barring a draw, Canelo or Plant will become just the 6th male undisputed kingpin, regardless of weight, in the 4-belt era. Rare is the opportunity to make history, my friend. When fights like Saturday's mega main event materialize, everyone's a winner. And that's an opinion that's undisputed.
You're right about that. Fight fans definitely win with this fight. Al, put in perspective for me what this means for each fighter. Caleb Plant, for him to be undisputed and to have this in just 22 professional fights. Then Canelo, listen, his legacy's already secure. We know that. But what would it mean for him now to be the undisputed champion at super middleweight?
Canelo Álvarez has been in pro boxing for 16 years, and of course over that time has accomplished so much. But what he wants to do on Saturday night is just not just something to he and Eddie Reynoso, his manager trainer, to market a fight or something gratuitous. It's something they talked about for a long time, trying to be the person that can unify the 168-pound division. So few people have done it. No Mexican has ever done it. They see this as a launching pad to the last part of his career and becoming one of the best generational fighters that we have seen. Now, as for Caleb Plant was not expected to be here and not getting the greatest reception from this crowd, which is pro Canelo. When he won his title, it was an upset win over Jose Uzcategui. Nobody thought he was going to win that fight. He pulled the upset. He's had a couple of defenses. He's a fighter who has continually gotten better. The question on Saturday is going to be, is better good enough?
Yeah, you're right about that. But listen, Caleb Plant has had 4 world title fights here. He's undefeated, and 2 of those victories have come by knockout. Okay, Ab, so take me as a fighter. Stylistically, how does Canelo win this fight?
Well, Canelo has to be Canelo, even though I would like to see a faster starter Canelo, because he's known to be a slow starter, but he's a fighter that collects data early on in the rounds. And once he figures you out, you put the smart pressure, he'll make you miss, work the body, headhunts, and my God, when this guy hits the head, he's known for breaking faces. So that's what Canelo needs to do. For Caleb Plant has to fight the perfect fight. He's got to use the whole ring. He's got to be smart, use his IQ. He's an athlete. I mean, listen, Caleb Plant has the goods. He's got the needs to make this fight interesting, which is a smart boxer.
Here's the great thing, about Canelo, when he's the face of boxing. This place has been scaled for 5,000 people. We're near capacity for a weigh-in. That's how you know he's box office.
Last person to do that, the only man to beat Canelo Álvarez. Floyd Money Mayweather. Where MGM, Mayweather gets money, so does Canelo.
You're right about that. All right, just to recap, everyone, the 6 undercard fighters have all weighed in. The event we've all been waiting for is coming up shortly. Canelo and Plant about to walk to the scale for the official weigh-in. IBF titleist Caleb Plant has prevailed over adversity in and out of the ring. He and his team believe these experiences have prepared him for this showdown with Canelo.
The people who know Plant best have seen him summon uncommon strength countless times before, like head trainer Justin Gamber, who has guided the boxers since 2013.
Hi. You know what I mean? When you're all of the adversity that Caleb's faced in his career, all the hurdles that he's had to overcome, there's no such thing as a problem anymore. You can overcome anything, and that's the key to winning.
Yeah, bait and turn, so you don't get caught up in a straight line.
Plant's tenacity caught the boxing world's attention in 2019. When he seized the title he had promised his late daughter Aaliyah. That night unlocked the formula he carried through 3 title defenses. Fast movement, quick striking, above all ferocious.
You see him getting meaner and meaner as the fight gets closer and closer. I would describe Caleb's mentality as a junkyard dog. And that's what you need to be a top fighter in boxing. You have to have the skill, but you have to have that grit too, that dog in you.
Boom, right there. Boom, right there. Time. Good job.
Here's a look at the 31-year-old Canelo Álvarez. It's easy to forget He's a 16-year veteran of the sport, and in that time, he has taken on all comers and has amassed a formidable ring IQ, and he believes it gives him a significant edge in this fight.
For Canelo, Plant's claims to the throne are nothing new. Same song, different singer. And yet, this particular opponent has made this particular bout undisputedly personal.
When I take something personal, for me it's even better because my mind is strong. I train like more hard than usually. I'm gonna be in the ring that night and thinking about what happened. Es un buen boxeador. Es un buen boxeador, boxea bien, tiene un buen jab, rápido, buenas combinaciones, es alto. Va a ser difícil en los primeros asaltos.
Eso, vivo.
No es una pelea fácil, pero como te digo, tengo las habilidades y tengo la experiencia de poder haber estado con peleadores, con todo tipo de estilos en el cuadrilátero y pues tengo esa experiencia y ahora sí que las habilidades para lograr esto. Y estoy muy confiado en que lo puedo hacer. No confiado en el mal sentido, sino confiado en lo que sé hacer y en lo que puedo hacer.
Bueno.
Nearly 5,000 people have come here to the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and it is time for the main event weigh-in. Let's go back to the stage and the Hall of Famer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, we're moments away from our main event weigh-in. Before we bring out our fighters, let's take a closer look at this historic showdown for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, Canelo versus Plant.
Camp after camp. Fight after fight. For 16 long years, the remarkable rise of Canelo Álvarez has unschooled in public. He's no longer the babyface teen from a country known for its warrior spirit. He's the best fighter right now, from anywhere, period.
Estaré al lado de los pocos que han sido unificados en la historia del boxeo. El primero en Latinoamérica, el primero en este peso. Y es lo que quiero al final de mi carrera, hacer historia es lo que busco.
This is my moment, and I'm gonna seize it. I wanna win this fight because it's my destiny.
Caleb Plant, meanwhile, forged his mettle in private, turning pain into promises and promises into the opportunity at hand.
My whole life, I've conquered things way bigger than boxing. Things that would chew him up and spit him out. And I come out with it with my chin up.
The pressure of want, the certainty he belongs, it's all being revealed right now. So when two champions of such divergent paths face off on November 6th, it's already clear why they disdain each other. They don't perceive what they hold in common. They just see another man who's standing in the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our featured attraction of the evening, brought to you by Canelo Promotions, TGB Promotions, and live on Showtime pay-per-view. Well, fans, let's bring our fighters to the stage at this time. First, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Nashville, Tennessee, the IBF World Champion. The intense champion focused on capturing the undisputed title. Ladies and gentlemen, with a record of 21 wins, no losses, and 12 knockouts, here is the reigning, the defending, and the undefeated IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Sweet Hands, Caleb Plant. And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the stage, el orgulloso guerrero de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the star of boxing and pound for pound great, the 4-division world champion, the one and only Saul Canelo Álvarez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring our fighters to the scale at this time for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. Weight limit on this fight is 168 pounds. First to the scale, the IBF champion making the 4th defense of his title. Here is the undefeated IBF super middleweight champion of the world, Sweet Hands, Caleb Plant.
Go. $167 pounds for Caleb Plant, 167. And now making his way to the scale in his 20th world title appearance, here is the current WBC, WBO, and WBA super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Álvarez. $168 pounds for Canelo Álvarez, right at the limit of 168 pounds.
Con una toalla.
Well, this crowd is lit. Caleb Plant comes in a pound under the limit. Canelo right on 168. This will be the 4th consecutive fight. Plant will be defending his IBF super middleweight title that he won in January of 2019. And here comes Canelo, facing the 7th undefeated champion in his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is for the first ever undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, Saul Canelo Álvarez versus Sweet Hands, Caleb Plant.
Well, we know the last time they had a face-off, there was some furniture that got moved.
Yeah, you know what? Canelo calls himself the face of boxing. Caleb Plant literally slapped the face of boxing, ended up getting cut under his right eye. And speaking of cutting, you need a chainsaw to cut the tension on that stage. You talk about being lit, it's going to be in fuego Saturday night, my friend.
Let me tell you something, Al Bernstein. Canelo said this one's personal.
Very much so, and thank God that scale's very big.
Let's go down to our Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much. Caleb, stare down's over here. If we can get you to turn around, sir. What was the back and forth being stated right there? What was the back and forth going on right there?
Saturday night, you got your first undisputed champion. His name is Caleb Plant. Listos pe los chingazos. Listos pe los chingazos.
You guys had quite a bit back and forth. What were you saying?
We agree to disagree. We're going to find out Saturday night, though. I promise you that.
Caleb, why are you so confident in yourself in this fight?
Tune in Saturday, November 6th, Showtime pay-per-view, and you're going to find out firsthand.
Do you relish being the underdog and having everybody against you?
Absolutely. I love it. You can cheer for him all you want. You can boo for me all you want. Hey, remember, it's easy to sit in those seats. It's easy to sit in those seats. It ain't easy to stand up here. Remember that. Remember that.
Any nerves at all?
Come on, man. This is what I do. I was born for this. This is my destiny.
Best of luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, Caleb. Thank you. All right.
I'll tell you what, Abner Morris, Caleb Plant is one confident young man. Listen, we know he's a champion. First time on this kind of stage, but I tell you what, he looks confident.
I like his demeanor. I like his confidence, the determination. I mean, the guy, yeah, he's never been here before, but he said, I was born for this. This is my destiny. And I can see, you can see it, sense it in his eyes, his body language. This guy's ready for this fight.
Jim Gray now with Canelo Álvarez.
All right, thank you very much. Because Canelo, quite a bit of activity and conversation back and forth during the stare down. What were you saying to Caleb?
No, I say just you will see tomorrow. It's time. I don't need to say anything. It's time. So he will feel something different. Believe me.
You usually do not dislike your opponents. You understand this is a business and this is your job. It's different this time. What is it about him that you dislike?
Yeah, like I said before, for every action is a reaction. So I have a good blood inside of me.
This is your casa. This is your home. Here's Mike Tyson as he steps in. The responsibility, how much do you feel to all of these fans and for being the best boxer on the planet? Do you feel a responsibility, Canelo?
No, I feel blessed. I feel blessed. I feel motivated for all my fans here, my family, my team. I feel motivated more than responsibility.
And what does it mean to have this guy right here watching you fight?
Means a lot. He was a great fighter, legend. I want to be like him one day, so means a lot.
Canelo, best of luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Mike, you are now here to watch this fight. Obviously, you stood on this mantle, and you know what this is like. Describe the emotion that these two fighters have at a time like this.
Well, this is the best time of this is the best time during the fight, the last moment. Because, you know, next time you see him, it's going to be in the ring. And this is the best time in the fight for me. This is my best time.
When you're up here like this, are there nerves involved? Do you feel those butterflies? Are you anxious for the fight to start?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm nervous now, yeah.
How much do you miss this?
Not that much. It drove me insane.
Who are you picking to win, Canelo or Plant?
The champion, yes.
Why?
Well, he's proven himself to be the best fighter of his generation, and he deserves to have the nod.
Mike, it's great to have you here. We'll see you tomorrow night. All right. Mike Tyson back here on Showtime. Brian, back to you.
Jim, thank you very much. As you see, the IBF champion, Caleb Plant, making his way out of the arena. Back here with Mauro Ranallo, Al Bernstein, and Abner Morris. Hey, look, both these guys look great. What do you expect tomorrow night?
Oh, I expect fistic fireworks. We all expect history, but I gotta say, Mike Tyson being in the building tonight at his apex, people were mentally defeated before getting into the ring. Caleb Plant was talking about the same thing with Canelo Álvarez, that a lot of them felt they were just showing up for a paycheck, handing their belt over to the pound-for-pound king. Caleb Plant is here to plant his flag atop the summit, and his confidence, I think that's going to play a huge factor, especially in the beginning of this fight, because if Caleb Plant can use his boxing and bank some of those early rounds, he's going to be forced to fight, but there's a lot of fight in him, judging from what we saw on that stage.
You're right about that. What do you think, Hall of Famer?
You know, I think this is a weigh-in, and they both weighed in on weight. And, you know, 168, it's interesting. It's a division that has good history, a lot of good fighters now, and it's the home of Canelo Álvarez now. He's found that sweet spot at 168 pounds. And Caleb Plant is a natural 168-pounder. They're right there, both ready for a good fight.
Abs, you've been on this level. Talk to me about this. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting a really good fight. Obviously, both fighters feeding off the energy from the crowd, even though people aren't here to see Caleb Plant, but he's feeding off all of this, man. He's excited. This is his moment. Canelo, he's been here before, and I expect a really good fight. Not an easy fight as people think it would be for Canelo. I think Caleb Plant has the determination. He has the abilities to give Canelo Álvarez a really good fight.
Here's the great thing that, folks, we're going to see history tomorrow on Showtime pay-per-view. We're going to see our first undisputed super middleweight champion, and of course that male will be the 6th male undisputed champion in the history of the sport. Listen, coming up at the top of the hour, it is Bellator MMA 270. It's live from 3 Arena in Dublin, Ireland. The lightweight world title is on the line as Peter the Showstopper Queally, he enters the cage for a highly anticipated rematch with Patricky Pitbull. And then tomorrow night, folks, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time, the pound-for-pound king, Canelo Álvarez, and the undefeated IBF titleist, Caleb Sweet Hand Plant. They've got a date with destiny. The winner will be crowned the first ever undisputed super middleweight champion. It's live on Showtime pay-per-view. That will do it for now. For Al Bernstein, Mauro Ranallo, Abner Mares, Jim Gray, and our entire Showtime Sports crew, I'm Brian Custer. Good afternoon from Las Vegas.